Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Naram Tamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Past Prabhuji, you can take over.
No, it's okay, Prabhuji. Please, Mataji is already joined. Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please welcome in the Bhagavad session group. And already Anandabardhan Prabhuji read the recitation of Mangalachara. So now over to you. We are on chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 15, and text number 10. Mataji, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Just for my purification, I will recite the prayers and then start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namo Mahavatanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayane Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurakrishna Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Shnavata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayam Tasodhya Bhaktani Vidunoti Suvritsavam Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtakya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. I know it's a busy weekend today. Lot of festivals coming up, and Ekadasi is coming up. So, anyways, so this verse that I'm going to read is from 1.5.10. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the translation says, it was he only who loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants who dared upon the cluster of your queen's hair, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the great Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. At the time, she fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with the tears in her eyes. Queen Draupadi had a beautiful bunch of hair, which was sanctified in the ceremonial function of the Rajasuya Yajna. But she was lost in a bed Dushashan touched her glorified hair to insult her. Draupadi then fell at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna decided that all the wives of Dushashan and the company should have their hair loosened as a result of the battle of Kurukshetra. Thus, after the battle of Kurukshetra, yeah.
I think it's 1:15:10.
Yes, it's 1:15:10.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm reading the purport of 1:15:10. Are you mistaken for something else, or am I mistaken?
No. Sorry. That's fine. I thought you were reading the translation, but no. Okay.
Purport.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. I just completed the translation.
Sorry, Mataji. Sorry to disturb.
And I started with the purport of Kurukshetra. After all the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, all the wives of the family were obliged to loosen their hair as widows. In other words, all the wives of the Kuru family became widows because Dushasan's insulting a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord cannot tolerate the insults upon himself by any miscreant because the father tolerates even the insults from the son, but he never tolerates insults upon his devotees. By insulting a great soul, one has to forego all the results of pious acts and benedictions also. So this is a very well-known story about Dusashan, right? I mean, from Mahabharata, we all know what had happened and how Dushasan insulted Draupadi. Very, very famous episode. But the takeaway is very serious, right? The lessons learned is that we're all devotees here, right? Everybody who chants the names of Lord Krishna, they're all devotees of the Lord. And now we have to avoid any sort of offense to a devotee. This is the test that we have in our everyday life. How are we supposed to be a very, very well-mannered devotee with all sets of people whom we talk to, whom we interact with? And mostly we are interacting only with devotees. So how are our mannerisms supposed to be? How are we supposed to not commit offense at all? This is very important, isn't it? Because what happens when we start to commit offenses? Krishna is not going to be pleased, and we are trying to chant every day, waking up early in the morning, trying to chant his names to start our day. This is to please him. But again, throughout the day, we interact with the devotees, and throughout the day, if we are showing a very inimical attitude towards devotees, not smiling at them and not respecting them, criticizing them, blaspheming them, Prabhuji said something, apology. So you mistook it to be 1.5.10, is it? Okay.
Yeah. In the group, it is purport for 1.5.10. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's 1:15. We've already completed the 14th chapter, and now we are into the 15th chapter. So no problem, Prabhuji. So the very important takeaway for us, dear devotees, is to somehow be conscious of what we are intending to do at all points in time, because so much effort we put to accumulate devotional credits, and all of a sudden, just by some words of blasphemy or criticizing a devotee, what happens is those credits come down, right? Terrifically come down. We might have, say, accumulated 100 credits, devotional credits, and then we blaspheme or criticize an exalted devotee. Then what happens? So Krishna, he's not going to be pleased with you. And he's going to say, no, this is something I cannot tolerate. The devotees are my heart, and you are trying to displease my heart. So what am I supposed to do with you? I have to reduce the devotional credits. So you are going to fall from where you are. You might have had 100, but you could just fall down to 50. And then since this offensive mentality is there in you, you're not correcting it, right? What happens since that offensive mentality is there in you, you keep on repeating the offenses. And this leads to further fall down like that. You don't even know that you are offending a devotee. See, this criticism becomes natural for someone who keeps on criticizing people. Why he is criticizing people? If you were to think at it, think about this point of why people criticize. Do you have answers? I want to make it interactive here, just to kind of answer this question, why people criticize? What is the inner motive behind criticism? This has to be thought through. Then only we understand, okay, we should not commit this going forward. Any thoughts? Yeah.
Mataji, maybe they think they are the superior than the others.
Yes, exactly.
And ego is there. Yes.
Absolutely. Parth Prabhu was right on to the point. We want to always feel superior. I am the best. You know what? I can this purports I already know. I really don't have to come attend a Bhagavatam class to understand this purport of Srila Prabhupada. I know. Oh, what Dusashan did to Draupadi, it's a very famous episode. Who doesn't know this episode? So now what happens? You want to always feel superior. Always. That's why that is the reason for criticizing others. Because you want to put them down. You want to put them down means what? You want to look good. You want to feel superior. That's why you put others down, isn't it? So this is the mentality, dear devotees. This mentality has to be curbed. Otherwise, it's very, very, very difficult. So now we will try to understand what are some of the qualities that we can have in order to avoid these offenses. So that is going to be a topic for our discussion in today's class. So these qualities are something even I want and I'm aspiring for. So I want to discuss in depth about what this, what these qualities are, and then we will go one by one. And then we will try to understand that further. Okay. And now, so the greatness of the Vaishnavas is quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Let's talk about that a little bit, and then I'll get on to the qualities. Okay. So the devotee of Hari is very rare in the age of Kali. The position of the devotee is more elevated than the position of Brahma or Lord Rudra. This is all from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Okay. The presence of devotee at the time of death elevates even the killer of a Brahmana to the spiritual sky. If a dog eater becomes a Vaishnava, then he becomes more elevated than a Brahmana. And if a sannyasi is devoid of devotion to Vishnu, then he is considered to be degraded than a dog eater. See how Vaishnavas are superior at all points in time. A dog eater becomes a Vaishnava, then he becomes elevated more than a Brahmana. This is the status that the dog eater is given because he's become a Vaishnava. But if again, sannyasi is supposed to be elevated, that's what we say, oh yeah, sannyasi, we are supposed to fall at his feet because he has sacrificed everything for the sake of Krishna, one might think. But in this case, this sannyasi is devoid of devotion to Vishnu. Then he is degraded than even a dog eater, it seems. Without Vishnu, devotion to Vishnu or Krishna, then they are degraded than even a dog eater. Then those who worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, are the best of people, and no one is better than them in the three worlds. Those sinless, magnanimous Vaishnavas purify the entire creation, and therefore they are better than the places of pilgrimage. We saw, right? When they go to the pilgrimage, these people carry Krishna in their hearts, and that is why the place they go to, that becomes a pilgrimage. Right? This is what we saw in an earlier class. Those who are my devotees are not actually my devotees. I mean, those who are my devotees are not actually my devotees. Those who are my devotees of my devotees are real devotees. So this point is very important, dear devotees. What is Krishna trying to tell here? Those who are my devotees are not actually my devotees, meaning Krishna gives importance to those who are his devotees, meaning those who are my devotees of my devotees, they are real devotees. So how much reverence and respect we are supposed to give to each and every devotee that we encounter with. We cannot take them for take them for granted because they are chanting Krishna's name. This must be always there in our mind. And another important thing that really stuck my heart, dear devotees, is this point that His Grace Bhakti Vidyan Goswami brought about. Why are you always thinking about what pleases you, what pleases you, what pleases you? Why can't you think otherwise? Why can't you think what pleases devotees? Because of our false ego, we are always thinking about ourselves. I have to look good. I have to feel superior. I have to be respected at all times. It's all about you. What about others? What about the devotees who are so close to the Lord, who carry Krishna in their hearts? Again, we have gradations, of course. We have Kanishta, we have Madhyama, and we have Uttama. Accordingly, we give respect to each and every devotee in the categories, right? But the basic principle is we have to give respect. Respect means no criticism. Even if he's a Kanishta, no criticism, right? And that is why Maharaj mentions, see, there is a ball in front of you, right? The ball is there. And if we are going to kick that ball, I mean, it not necessarily be a ball because ball is meant to kick, but I'm just talking about any other thing that is just left on the floor. What is our attitude towards that particular thing in the floor? Are we kicking it and moving it aside, or are we patiently taking it in our hands and then moving it aside? This shows our intention, right? We can check our intentions at all points in time, dear devotees. How are we treating a non-living thing? How are we treating it? That even matters. That's what Maharaj says. This attitude carries forward. The attitude that you have towards non-living things also carries forward to the living beings that we encounter. I thought this point was very, very important because how we deal with the thing in the floor, are we taking it with our hand? Are we pushing it aside like that with our legs? And that too in a very aggressive mood. This all shows the modes that we are acting upon, right? How much aggressive we are, that shows to that extent we have Tamoguna and Rajoguna. So we really need to be conscious. Krishna consciousness is all about consciousness. Now, coming back to the blasphemy of Vaishnavas, we have to be always alert and always be cautious. And that is why we need to have a very nice attitude. Attitude means careful attention, right? Careful attention means consciously we have to be attentive of what we are intending to do. The attitude is what is going to advance us in Krishna consciousness. This is the thing Srila Prabhupada mentions to Gopal Krishna Maharaj in the year 1970. We should always maintain this fearful attitude, which means careful attention, he says. And this attitude will advance you to progressively, this attitude will help you to advance in Krishna consciousness. We should always, Prabhupada says, we should always be alert whether you're committing some offense or not. Because you're watchful of it, it's a very nice attitude, he says. In rendering service to Krishna and his representative, the spiritual master, we have to listen to our spiritual master, and we should always maintain this fearful attitude, which means careful attention to things that we encounter. And this attitude is what is going to help us advance in Krishna consciousness. And this is stated by Srila Prabhupada to Gopal Krishna Maharaj in the year 1970, April 21st. So now, we can come to, as I told you, what if one commits Vaishnava Aparadh, right? If by one chance somebody commits a Vaishnava Aparadh, he must, of course, beg forgiveness from the Vaishnava very earnestly, holding on to his feet. This is the recommendation from Harinam Chintamani. A Vaishnava is always merciful, so he will immediately embrace this person who's asking forgivingness from him, and he will forgive him for all the offenses. But again, how much are we repenting from our heart? This is very important, dear devotees. Very, very important point is how much are we regretful of that offense? How much? That determines that in the future, you will not commit that offense. That repentance, if it comes from your heart, seriously, you're repenting for it. Oh, you know what? I just committed a mistake, aparadh, by displeasing that Vaishnava. And you go and beg forgiveness from that Vaishnava. That forgiveness is to avoid future Vaishnava aparadh. And because that repenting, you're getting it from the heart. From your heart, you're saying, I really made a mistake and I have to go and beg for forgiveness from that Vaishnava. And you're sincerely regretting and repenting. And if this action is seen in you, then there is a chance, dear devotees, for you not to commit the next offense. But instead, if you're taking it cool, that Vaishnava forgive me, no problem. I can just move on and commit this kind of aparats next time also to the same Vaishnava. If you have this kind of easygoing attitude, then how are we supposed to reform? Because offensive mentality leads to an offense. It is a cyclic thing. It cannot be stopped unless you put an effort to it. Unless you are conscious of it, unless you sincerely repent for it, nothing is going to change. So that is why when we are chanting the names of the Lord, and if we have committed, if we don't know the person whom we have offended, we beg to the Lord, we beg to the holy names, we beg to the Harinam Prabhu to kind of be merciful upon us. We cry and we sincerely beg for his forgiveness if we don't know the person whom we have offended, right? See, what are we chanting? We are chanting Aparadhnam probably, right? That is why we are not able to get the love of Godhead. Otherwise, one name of the Lord is enough. Why we are keep on repeatedly chanting the names of the Lord? Because we are not purified yet of our offenses. That is the problem, dear devotees. This is the root. This is the root. So hence, our goal must be to always satisfy Vaishnavas. This is an instruction for me. I really, really pray that I please the Vaishnavas at all points in time. Even if my ego is hurt, I really should not care. My ego can be hurt all points of time. No problem. Let it be hurt more and more and more. So that I understand I am a menial servant at all points in time. This attitude is what I am praying for. So that I really want to please the Vaishnavas at all times. Krishna, you please bless me. Spiritual Master, you please bless me. Only through your mercy, I can serve the Vaishnavas. If this attitude is there in you, then we can definitely, there is a chance. Krishna will give us a chance. At least we are having this mood and intention with which we are praying, right? Krishna gives us a chance. Okay, this devotee, he has a mentality to offend people, but he's sincerely regretting and he's sincerely praying. He don't want to offend anybody and please the Vaishnavas at all points in time. So let me help him, right? So let's try for that. Now, a very important subject matter that we could go and discuss. This is about, as I told you, the importance of being simple. This is one of the qualities that Srila Prabhupada has stressed many times. Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, he has stressed many times. Radhanath Maharaj, His Grace, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj has several times stated this. So all of our Guru Vargas, they are stressing this point of us to become simple. But what is the simplicity? This is what is today's class all about. Again, the process of becoming the servant of Krishna is what we are hankering for. That is by becoming servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. This is a Vaishnava. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught the world what is true devotional service through his devotees and by his example. He empowered his servants to demonstrate these unparalleled qualities in the form of, he just gave it to them through his mercy, right? Unparalleled qualities, what we should aspire for. What are the standards at which we all want to achieve? Because we are living in a materialistic society. This society is full of darkness. In the darkness, there is no value for soul, true self. Oh, please come to temple. What temple? I have so much things going on in my life. You're asking me to come to a temple? For what? That is what, when we ask somebody to come to temple, this is what is the answer we get. There is no value for soul. There is no value for true self. The goal is totally opposite. The people have some goals, right? Vyavasayatmika buddhi is needed, but people have different goals. I need a good body. I need to have a good, healthy body. I need to have lots of wealth. I need to have a prestige, power. This is what people hanker for. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he says, all these things that people are hankering for are abominable for the soul. Good health is okay if it can be used for Krishna service. Wealth, if it can be used for Krishna service, no problem. Anything, if it's used for Krishna service, then no problem. But all these that you are after, which are the sought after goals, they are the cause of bondage and suffering to the soul. So we should be striving for qualities that pleases Krishna, because pleasing him is the only purpose of our life. Whatever work that we have, whatever position that we have in the society, if it is not going to please Krishna, then we have failed. So what pleases Krishna? What pleases him the most? It's only love. It's only pure devotion that pleases him. So what are the qualifications of the pure devotion? How am I supposed to live? This is what is Arjuna's question to Krishna in Gita, right? He wanted to know. It is important for us to understand what qualities of a genuine devotee who's following Krishna's teachings 100%. This has to be revealed to us. That is what we should strive for. And again, today, there are many qualities that comprise the nature of a Vaishnava. But today, what we are going to focus on is simplicity. If time permits, then I can go through the aspect of tolerance too. But simplicity is what, as I told you, many acharyas have spoken about the simplicity. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he said, the quality of saralata, that is simplicity, is the first qualification required to become a Vaishnava. Right? We call ourselves Vaishnavas. We may dress like Vaishnavas. We may talk like Vaishnavas. But what is really a Vaishnava? That is important. That is to have this quality of simplicity. Prabhupada, as I told you, Srila Prabhupada, he has stressed very many times about this aspect of simplicity. So, what does this mean to be simple? One has to be free from any diplomacy. That is saralata. To be willing to be straightforward, to speak the real truth even to his own enemy. Free of diplomacy. See, no. So our mind is so complicated, dear devotees. If you were to analyze, before even the person speaks to you, you may have judged that person. Okay. He is not even, you don't have any acquaintance with that person. But you judgmentally, in your mind, you start thinking, oh, this person is this. So much complicated our mind is, because of which we have so much judgmentalism within us. What is the definition? One has to be free of any diplomacy, to be willing to be straightforward and speak the truth even to one's own enemy. And again, definitions are given by different acharyas. This definition is given by Srila Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan in his Gita, Bhagavad Gita commentary. And this is the definition that Prabhupada quotes very often. To be straightforward, to be without pretension, to be without ego, then that person is very simple. And Prabhupada, he also tells the story of Gautama Rishi. A young boy, he approached him for initiation, right, to Gautama Rishi. He said, I only initiate Brahmins. Who's your father? Tell me. So this young boy, he went to his mother and asked, who's my father, my dear mother? I would like to get initiated from Gautama Rishi. And Gautama Rishi is asking this question, who's my father? So the child went back to his mom and she questioned his mom, who's my father? She said, I don't know. I was a prostitute. I had many affairs with many men. I really don't know who your father is. So the child went back to Gautama Rishi and said, Guru Maharaj, I don't know who my father is. And when I asked my mother, who's my father? My mother said, she's a prostitute. So there is no way to tell who my father is, because she has had association with many men in her life. And Gautama Rishi said, you are a Brahmin because you are truthful, because you are simple and you simply speak the truth. So the personality that Lord Chaitanya empowered is this principle of simplicity. To a degree, if anyone tries to imitate them, he says, you will be ruined. So the principle of simplicity has to come to us naturally, dear devotees. We have to become like a child who's innocent. Because right now, we are complicated. You all ask your questions. Ask yourself the question, are you complicated or not? If your heart says yes, that means you have assessed it right. We have to become like children, innocent like a children. This is simplicity. Now, there is a contrasting episode in Chaitanya Charitamrit. Okay, this is an episode with Damodar Pandit. Okay, He was very simple. He was very straightforward. He was very, very honest. And Srila Prabhupada explains that in simplicity here, in this context, it means without duplicity and no politics. Okay. We all know what is politics, right? Material politics means to achieve your personal ambition. I am willing to say anything. It's okay if I tell a lie. I can tell 100 lies to win an election. I'm willing to do anything for that matter. Because you want to achieve what you want. By any means, hook or crook. Okay, this is materialistic politics. But Prabhupada says, without duplicity, this person is concerned. Your motivation is just for the well-being of the living entities. You speak in a way that is good for everyone's welfare. There is no selfish agenda there. This is simplicity, he says. And then we are going to see this example of Damodar Pandit. Okay. Now, very, very beautiful example to understand that there is no selfish agenda with Damodar Pandit, and he is speaking for the welfare of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the episode we are going to see. This is the context that you can put in your mind. And what is the story? I will say it now. The young boy was visiting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every day. Okay, this boy was so beautiful, charming, and he loved Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he really loved him. Like, you know, he was his heart and soul. He would offer obeisances to him whenever he goes to meet him. He would love to hear from him, this boy, and he would love to serve the Lord. But this was intolerable to Damodar Pandit, because there is a reason here, devotees. Listen to this. Because the mother of the child was widow, and she was young and beautiful. She's this lady from Orissa, right? And every day when the boy would come, and Damodar Pandit would chastise him every time he comes. He would say, don't come back, don't come back. And next day this boy would come back. He couldn't control the emotion of love that he had for Damodar Pandit. He couldn't control his emotion of love he had for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one day when the Lord left, Damodar Pandit could not control himself. He said to the Lord, he couldn't control his emotions any further. And what did he say to the Lord? You know what, Lord? My Lord, I know I have complete faith in you. You are transcendental to the moods of material nature. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever you do is only pure, nothing but pure. But you know what? There are so many gentle people around you. They don't have faith. I mean, they really don't understand. They don't understand you. They will judge by your actions. They will say, oh, you know what, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's a sannyasi. And although this boy may be very nice, his mother, she's a widow and she's young and beautiful lady. Therefore, your association with this boy, people could criticize thinking you're having some sort of relationship with this mother. So why you should ruin religious principles in this way by giving wrong understanding to everybody? You should not see this boy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was amazed at Damodar Pandit. He was criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He said, what are you saying? I mean, you understand what you're telling? What you just said to me? What I'm thinking, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now saying, Damodar Pandit, I think it's better for you to go to Navadvip and protect my mother, Sachi Devi, because you're so strict that you can even correct me. Therefore, you know, you go to Bengal and take care of my mother. You're the one right person who could protect my mother. Take her this prasad, go tell her I'm always with her. So another time, Damodar Pandit, he came back from Navadvip to Puri, and Chaitanya asked him, Lord Chaitanya is asking him, how's my mother Sachi? Upon hearing this, Damodar Pandit again chastised the Lord. How could you ask this question? What question is this? How is Sachi? She's the embodiment of devotion. She's devotional service personified. She is the mother of the universe. In fact, my Lord, whatever devotion you have for Krishna, it is only due to Chachi Mata's grace. Any qualities that you have in devotional service, you just have learned from your mother. Why are you asking about your mother? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very ecstatic to hear this. He said, yes, Damodar Pandit, whatever you are saying is true. Whatever devotional service I have been offered is just due to my grace of my mother. Whatever love of God is there in my heart is just my mercy of my mother. So if I were to criticize the Supreme Personality of Godhead or any Vaishnava for that matter, if somebody were to criticize, right, it would be considered impudence. So from every sense of word, if you look at Damodar Pandit being a devotee, Mahaprabhu being the Lord, Damodar Pandit is just a brahmachari. But if you look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's position, he's a sannyasi. So from every point of view, you could consider that Damodar Pandit is disrespecting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, considering his seniority, being a sannyasi, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being a senior Vaishnava too. So at every point, if you were to look at the words of Damodar Pandit, it could seem as if he is criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. However, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very important point. We are coming to the, the crux of the episode. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's considered Damodar Pandit to be the topmost intimate associate. He always was filled with ecstatic bliss, hearing the critical words of Damodar Pandit. Because, why? What is the reason? This is not spoken in envy. It was not spoken with any ego. Oh, just for him to look superior, he didn't put down Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? As I told you, that is an intention. If you're envious towards a person, then also you will start to criticize a person. So at any point in time, Prabhupada mentions that he is not speaking it out of envy. He's not speaking it out of his ego. He was genuinely simple. He genuinely loved the Lord. He really selflessly with his heart was thinking what he was thinking. Well, how could I please the Lord and care about the welfare of the living beings? And in that consciousness, he was so straightforward. He was very honest in the spirit of service. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, he exhibited the quality of simplicity. This is what he exhibited. He cannot be imitated. So we must understand this very important point. Oh, there is a senior devotee and I can say anything to that senior. We cannot imitate Damodar Pandit because he has that genuineness from his heart, but we would only imitate. So we have to understand the principle of simplicity and strive for that, right? We saw this example of Gautam Rishi's, brahmachari, how he wanted to get, how he was simple. We are understanding Damodar Pandit's example, how he was simple. So now simplicity also Srila Prabhupada says is the sincere acceptance of Lord's order or the order that comes from the Guru. Whatever comes from Krishna, whatever comes from our Bhakti Shastras, that is simplicity if you're going to follow. What is this doubt due to? If you're always having doubt, what is it due to? It is due to duplicity and you being complex person. That is why doubts are coming. If you're a simple person, there will be no doubts. If you truly understand what simplicity means, then you will never have any doubts. Even if you don't know to read, just by seeing the pictures, you will understand Krishna's glories. This is simplicity. Srila Prabhupada, he wanted his devotees to be rational and philosophical, but ultimately simple. So Srila Prabhupada, he explained Kunti Devi, right? The mother of the Pandavas. She was such a simple lady. She had simple faith in Krishna, in the protection of Krishna, and every word that Krishna spoke. Even if you look at the great Paramahamsas, great Tapasvis, they were all very eager to hear her prayers to Krishna. She was the mother. She was like she was a woman, but she had simple faith that even Paramahamsas would want to hear her prayers to Lord Krishna because they are simple truth. Because of her natural faith, the prayers were pouring out of love that she had for Krishna. So it's the simple faith and love that matters here, devotees. This is the virtue. It looks like the females have it by nature. They are prone to be they are prone to be simple. But nowadays we are getting complicated because of the association that we have. But in general, women are supposed to be simple by nature. But somehow this crookedness has come to us because of the associations and because of repeatedly repeating that samskara many times, we have become complex people. So if we have to undo ourselves, only through sadhana we can undo ourselves. Srila Prabhupada, he says, how the gopis, when Krishna, it's a beautiful episode here, devotees. Kindly pay attention to this beautiful episode. You just have a lot of realizations coming out of this, okay? Srila Prabhupada, he uses this example of how the gopis, when Krishna stole their clothes from river Jamuna, he asked them to come out, right? They were hiding their private parts of their body with hands. And Krishna knew that they were simple gopis. So he told them, you have committed an aparadha to Lord Varuna, the Lord of water, by going in this water without the clothes on. Therefore, in order to atone for an offense that you have committed to Lord Varuna, you must put your folded hands on top of your head like this and offer obeisances to Varuna. And the gopis, Srila Prabhupada said, they were so simple that they just believed in Krishna and they wanted to please Krishna. They didn't care about anything else. They offered such a kind of obeisances for the pleasure of Krishna. This is the devotion the gopis have. They just believe. If we just believe in the words of the scriptures, yes, Shastra Praman, I understand, this is coming from our acharyas, and if we believe each and every word of it, we would have now become a pure devotee. It's the faith that is lacking in us, right? Shastrata Vishwasaha. And how Srila Prabhupada wanted us to be simple is accepting the words of our acharyas and the Lord seriously and our Guru Vargas. This is what is important. That is simplicity, he says. So we just saw various definitions of simplicity, right? I mean, obviously not to be duplicitous. That is definitely a definition of simplicity. And just following the words of the Lord sincerely, accepting the words of the Lord sincerely, accepting the words of the Guru sincerely. This is also simplicity. So now, Srila Prabhupada stood by example. Whatever he was speaking, he just stood by example. This is a glory of Srila Prabhupada. He was such a sublime, powerful philosopher who could smash Mayavadis, scientists, atheists, Sahajiyas, materialists. He had simple faith in what? In the words of a spiritual master. This is the faith that we should aspire for. Simple faith. He was ready to do anything for that. The words of the spiritual master is his heart and soul. If each and every one of us were to take that principle to heart, then each one of us would reform. He showed it by example. He, this is what is Srila Prabhupada. We can get so much inspiration from Srila Prabhupada if we follow his footsteps. So, Dhananjay Prabhu, one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, was massaging Srila Prabhupada's head in London. Then on a television, there was a show about a man who was walking on the moon. And so they were talking, okay. And Srila Prabhupada did not go into a major investigation about NASA and what NASA was doing behind the scenes. But he simply accepted according to the Shastra. Whatever the Shastra said, Prabhupada accepted that. You can't go to moon. So this disciple was telling this thing to Prabhupada. You can't go to moon unless you have proper pious activities, isn't it? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, you can't go to the moon just like that. We understand Srila Prabhupada just has faith on the Shastras because of that, some science is saying something. Prabhupada doesn't care about that because he understands, yes, Shabda Praman is the highest. And that cannot be, what is the Shabda Praman? Shabda Praman is the Vedic scriptures, right? And when we have Vedic scriptures on one side, and then we have the words of the scientists, what are these words of the scientists made of? It is nothing but Hanuman and Pratyaksha. Hanuman means what? Hanuman means through Pratyaksha, you are coming to a conclusion about certain rules. Say, for example, fire is there and smoke comes out of the fire. What does Hanuman say? Okay, whenever there is fire, the smoke comes. Another instance, you see, there is no fire, there is no smoke because there's just only fire. So from these two conclusions, you come to a point to understand, okay, you put a rule and based upon it, you infer something. This is Hanuman. And what is Pratyaksha? Through your eyes, which is full of defects, you see something and you come to a conclusion. Yeah, this is what it is. And Hanuman also, you use Pratyaksha to get that influence. So basically, it is defective because we are using our senses that are faulty. And how are we supposed to come to the right conclusion if we have a defective sense to start off? How can Hanuman and Pratyaksha be true? At all points in time. It can be true in some instance. I don't deny that. But how can it be true at all instances? This is a natural question that could come, right? This is the point, dear kids, dear devotees. Shabda is what we need to trust. Always having faith in Shabda. This is what we are lacking, and this is what we need to strengthen. So let's all work towards that aspect of getting faith in Shabda. Whatever Shabda says, I have to follow. See, sometimes you may not understand what the Shabda says right away. It may take some time. It may take some time, meaning we need to get devotional maturity. Only after getting devotional maturity will we be able to understand a particular subject matter. Till that time, we have to patiently wait. Oh, why? Just till that time, you accept the Shastra as it is. Then realization will come with the time. Okay, be patient. We all know about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, he when it comes to this argument about moon, people not going to moon, he said, according to the calendar, there is Sunday, then Monday. Sunday comes before Monday. Sunday represents the sun and Monday represents the moon. So therefore, moon is farther from the sun. So people, he just had the simple acceptance because he had faith on the word of the Lord. He had faith on the word of his of the Shastras. That is why he didn't care about what this scientific things, whatever they come up with, he didn't care about it, and he didn't want to spend time on it. And he just stuck to what the Shastra said. Prabhupada said one time, Guru is heavy. What does that mean? Prabhupada explained, you put the opinion of all the philosophers, all the scientists, all the technologists, all the professors, all of them in this whole world on one side of the scale, and then you put the words of the Guru on the other, which is heavier. He said the words of the Guru is heavier because Guru is repeating the word of the Lord. This is Prabhupada's realization. Guru is heavy. The weight of the Guru should be given more importance than anybody. Anybody may say anything. All the junk should not get into our head. Everything else is junk only. If it is based out of Pratyaksha and Anuman, it can be right, it cannot be right. But the words of Shabda are always true. And that is what I should go after. And that is what I should follow. So there's also another explanation that Prabhupada uses with regards to this word, simplicity. He says it is, Prabhupada uses this word simplicity in the context of unsophisticated, uncomplicated. This is also what is called simplicity. Now Prabhupada, he explains Uddhava coming to Vrindavan, and he saw the Brajavasis living, the gopis especially. They were so simple, right? They were totally unsophisticated. They were totally straightforward and so honest. They were chastising Uddhava and they were chastising Krishna. No pretension. They were not pretending, oh yeah, Uddhava has come and I have to treat him. No, they were just so simple in their heart. There was no pretension at all. They were real people. They were so natural in their words, their action, and their mind, body, and words were in sync. So simplicity, Srila Prabhupada here in this context, he says, it's being willing to accept what Krishna provides and not hanker for anything more. And then there are so many examples. One prominent example is the episode of Kolavecha Sridhar, a banana leaf seller. This episode is it is an epitome of example of simplicity. Kolavecha Sridhar, he would sell bananas and banana leaves and banana barks. He would offer whatever he had for a fair price because he didn't want to hurt anybody. Because by charging too much, people will be hurt, right? So he didn't want to hurt anybody. So whatever little he would earn, he would first use the half of it to worship Mother Ganga. Because Mother Ganga, she is a devotee of Lord Vishnu and she is so merciful. So she has descended from the feet of Vishnu in order to purify all living entities. So such is the mercy of Ganga Mata. So he wanted to worship her and he wanted a little bit for his house, whatever, he has to eat also, right? So Lord Chaitanya, when he was Numai Pandit, what he would go and do to Kolavecha Sridhar is he would challenge for every day Kolavecha Sridhar's place where he went to where he was selling his bananas, he would challenge Kolavicha Sridhar. One day he asked Kolavicha Sridhar, why are you worshipping Vishnu? What he has done for you? Look at all your neighbors. Look at them. They are all worshipping Lord Durga. They are all having nice houses. They are having nutritious food. They are having good clothes. Look at you. What did Vishnu give you? Look at your house. That's not even a house. It's just a straw hut. There are so many holes on the roof. How do you survive in the rainy season? The floor, you don't have any utensil also in your house, except one iron pot that you have. That also has so many dents and scratches in it. What is this? You are the most, you don't have anything. Look at you. Look at your clothes. See how many holes are there in your clothes? You don't even have money to buy your new clothes. So many holes. You have to tie one knot over the other in order to hide. There are so many knots because of this in your clothes. This is what you are. Look at you. First, look at your face. How emaciated you are. You're starving to death. Kolavicha Sridhar, upon hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is Nimai Pandit's statements, he said, Lord, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. The king has a beautiful place, a luxurious palace, beautiful wardrobes, and there is birds in the tree, in his kingdom he may have. But I don't see any difference there between him and me. Whatever he has, I'm very happy. I really don't care for these luxurious things. I don't see any difference. Time passes in this world. And he's always happy because he had Krishna. He didn't need anything else. Because he was happy all the time because of Krishna in his heart. This is simplicity. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you're just simply pretending. You know what? You have the greatest treasure and you're hiding it. You're not willing to show the greatest treasure you have. Then Kolavicha Sridhar, he just took the words of the Lord at face value and he said, whatever you see is what I am. I have nothing else. I don't hide anything. I don't have anything to hide. Now, Mahaprabhu was like, Nimai was like, you're cheating the people. You're cheating people by being you're pretending as if you're a poor man. But I know you're the wealthiest man. And I'm going to reveal to the world how wealthy you are. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he performed a kirtan. He personally danced with Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit and all others in the kirtan party. In front of him was Srivas Thakur and Advaita Acharya. There were millions of people in the kirtan dancing in ecstasy. And they were all chanting Krishna's holy name. After that event, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his devotees to Kolavicha Sridhar's house, that old thatched straw hut house. And Sridhar came and offered obeisances, and Mahaprabhu saw the old pot, that is the iron pot that Kolavicha Sridhar had. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu drank water from that pot. Actually, you know what? An important thing here is that Kolavicha Sridhar drank water from the pot, and the Lord drank from that pot that was drunk by Kolavicha Sridhar. After that, what happened? He fell down. He said, no, now I'm dead. What have you done to me, my Lord? He was telling Kolavicha Sridhar, you have drunk the water I clean myself with, that I drink. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I attained the ecstatic love of Krishna because I tasted the water drunk by you, Kolavicha Sridhar. And this is from an iron pot with so much cracks and everything. He revealed the world that the greatest wealth that Sridhar had, that is the Kolavicha Sridhar had, was his wealth of devotion. Kolavicha's grass hut, it would have so many weeds, and somewhere in between a pumpkin would grow. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would ask, before taking sannyas, he would take that pumpkin of Kolavicha Sridhar and he would ask his mother to cook pumpkin ghee with some milk, that pumpkin that grows between the weeds on the roof of Kolavicha Sridhar. And then he would taste the ecstatic love that way also. He would never eat anything at home except the leaves provided by Sridhar. Like that, Mahaprabhu had so much attachment to Kolavicha Sridhar, and the only wealth the devotee has is this devotion. And this devotion will be curbed if you were to offend anybody. That is the point. So we have to become simple as much as possible. If we are not simple but complicated people, we should pray. If we are not simple, We have to pray that we have faith on the Shastras. Because when we have faith on the Shastras, we are going to believe in the Shastras, try to understand the Shastras, wanting to follow Shastras. This is what we are here for, dear devotees. We should always strive for that. Never at a point you should say, I know the story, I know this. No, we don't know. We are not yet transformed people. We have to strive for it. So each and every class that we have is an opportunity to transform ourselves. This should be the mentality of us. With this, we will conclude, dear devotees. I know I've taken so much time, but wanted to run through these episodes that spoke about simplicity and also talked about a few exchanges that Mahaprabhu had with his devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrind ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta vrind ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for your nice and wonderful class. You are covering so many aspects, so many chapters about the pastimes of the devotees, how they are simplicity, especially in the simplicity, and glories of the devotee, how they are greater than the Abhin also. Then the God also, the Supreme Personality God also, because they are carrying the God in their heart. So they are so pious, the soul purification and everything. So thank you very much, Mataji. Also, thanks all the devotees who are joining here. We open this forum for the question and answer. Please, if you have any questions or comment, please you can ask the questions. Anyone.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Thank you
please,
for the insights, especially with emphasis to simplicity and how we can try to live as devotees by being simple, truthful, and how we can especially serving in service to other devotees and avoiding criticism and all that bad-mindedness. So thank you so much, Mataji, for this class. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful session, Mataji, on simplicity. So I have one practical doubt, Mataji. So we are dealing with material, like I'm also material girl only. But of course, we are, I am on both sides. But we are entirely dealing with few people in office or across the board. So if we are too much simple, so what is the limit or how we have to take it, Mataji? Only to devotees we should explicit all this, or across everybody we should explicit this quality. But if we explicit so much, I'm not sure whether they will take it for granted. So where is the fine line that we have to draw so that we will be on safer side? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Mataji, this person who is simple now, this first of all has to naturally come, Mataji. We cannot be simple to one person and not be simple to another person. This has to naturally come from us. This is not, see, we may be like so much crooked in our heart and we cannot imitate this principle. This has to be very cautiously noted. This is not for imitation. Being simple kind of person is not imitation. This has to come with sadhana. And when it comes with sadhana, what happens is you will not care about anything, Mataji. You will be completely dependent on the Lord. No matter what happens to you, God is there to protect you. This vishwas, this trust comes in you. The person who is simple, he's simple by heart. He's not imitating. He's not following anything. I have to be simple to this girl because she's a devotee, she's exalted. No, the simplicity is directly, it's coming direct out of sadhana. Because of sadhana, she's having the simplistic nature. Your heart has become so softened. So now you cannot say, oh yeah, with materialistic people, I'll behave like this. By nature, you have become very soft-hearted, very simple. So then he has complete dependence on the Lord. When he has complete dependence on the Lord, Even if people were to throw stones at this person, he is completely dependent on the Lord, Mataji. So he doesn't care because he thinks, yeah, Krishna is there to protect. This is the extreme, meaning this is the ultimate that a devotee looks for, because this is perfection. But again, we are not there yet. So what are we supposed to do? Tell us something practical, Mataji. What are you saying? You are telling about that person who's getting hit by somebody and he still bears because Krishna is there to protect him. Tell me something practical. So the practical thing that we can aspire for is, Mataji, just not be duplicitous. Just don't try to pose and be an imposter. That much we can do. And then second thing that we can do practically is gaining trust in the Shastras. I want to have understanding of the Shastras, and I want to have a belief in the Shastras and accepting Shastras and the words of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra as a praman at all circumstances. Using your intelligence, you go for what Shabda says. This is also simplicity. So go for these two. This is what a devotee can practically do. Again, he's very well aware of the situation. You know, there is the story of Narad Muni, right? The snake, because it was not having its poisonous fangs, people would just throw stones at the snake. And then the snake went and complained to Narad Muni, oh, people are throwing stones at me. And now Narad Muni said, why don't you just do this? Then people will fear away and go because of this act. We sometimes have to have that aspect where if people are trying to abuse us, we just have to also wear that hat. But inside our heart, we should not get angry, really get angry. But just at the outside, we just have to say, yeah, I'm kind of not pleased by your act, like that. But internally, we don't have any hard feelings with another person. But externally, we are trying to show that, yeah, you know what, this is wrong, kind of to the other person, so that they don't abuse us. So these are some practical things that we can do, Mataji. But the ultimate is what I told you. When the devotee has simplicity completely, then he will have complete trust in the Lord, complete dependence in the Lord. There's no going back for him.
Thanks so much, Mataji. Thanks so much, Mataji, for the clarification. Yeah, I think when we have the Panditaha Samadarshinaha, I think when we realize that at least every one has Paramatma within, we will give respect. And the point that you said that when we are giving respect to somebody, there should not be no criticism against them. So that was the wonderful takeaway point, Mataji. And I have one more practical question. So sometimes we are like consciously, I am making sure that we should not make offense of anybody, even from the mind standpoint. We should not think bad about someone or suspect someone. But sometimes their actions are confusing. From outside, when I see, it's like they are having a partiality, of course, from a devotee perspective. But I'm not able to go and clarify that with them also. I don't know what to do, Mataji. So in that case, what should I do? Like, for example, now I'm seeing you that you are showing partiality to one student. Okay. So I'm seeing that, but I feel that, okay, I should not think anything bad about Mataji or any criticism. So I'm just shutting my mind off. But I'm not able to come to you also and get it clarified. I'm just taking your name as example. So what should I do in that situation, Mataji?
Very practical question, Mataji. Very, very beautiful question. So in that case, only pray to Krishna, Mataji. No other go. We cannot, anytime, we cannot, directly confront to a devotee, you are partial like that. We cannot go, especially if there is a senior devotee, we cannot go. They may have close acquaintance with someone because of which they give something. There may be so many hundreds of reasons, but we should be happy. At least we are given some service. Krishna wants me to test. Because by having interaction, he wants me to test and understand, oh, am I going to criticize? Krishna wants to give me a test and I should pass the test. At all times, I should be grateful to this Vaishnava because she gave me the opportunity to serve, be of some service. She could be partial, she could not, she's not partial, it doesn't matter, but she gave me an opportunity. I'm here to serve, I'm here to do my job. I'm just here, I should not judgmental. This judgmentalism is a problem within us. We become judgmental at times. And that has to be shut, Mataji, at all points in time, and that the Vaishnava will slowly realize, because he is also chanting Krishna's name. He will also be made to realize by Krishna himself soon. So till that time, we have to wait. But we cannot assume anything and we cannot demean the position of the Vaishnava. But at the same time, do our job to please Krishna. That's all. Our job is to please the devotee and please Krishna. And through your actions, that devotee will also change. Who knows? Right? We have to have broad, open heart. And this narrow, crooked heart will cause a lot of problems, Mataji. Now, that is why we need to broaden our... Even others are selfish, no problem. We cannot act like them. If we show our broad-mindedness, the other devotee will also change. We should give that room of opportunity. Be an example so others can change. But they may not change also. For that, we cannot complain. We cannot complain, we cannot crib, but pray to Krishna, intensely cry for Krishna. If you're having any problems, just, he will answer. Very soon, he will give us an answer. So certain things, when we cannot cross the line, then prayers are the best that time. Then he will provide answers. Please, sure. Devotees, feel free to chime in if you'd like. I like to hear different perspectives from different. Anand Prabhu, you had something. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, just very nice class, and your answer was completely good, so I don't want to add anything, but I just wanted to ask something actually. Sometimes we know simplicity is not to have an ulterior motive. We shouldn't have any ulterior motive when we deal with simplicity. But at times we know we are right. We are right about something. But the opposite person is actually not right, is incorrect. And how do we give to say, oh, because we are right, we know we are right, we don't want to be under false ego as well, that I'm superior to you. And other person is, not right at all.
Correct.
And sometimes you give in, you say, okay, because he's saying these things, you give that in. You say, okay, you are right. I don't want to say anything. So how do we deal with that situation? Because you try to be simple.
Yes. Very beautiful, practical question that you asked, Prabhuji. My point here would be because there is no point of argument between this person and you. You know you are right and he is wrong. But that person is not going to accept you are right because his frame of mind is completely different. He is in his own world. He has his own set of perceptions and thoughts that he believes in. And he is not going to change because of you. Unless he has very good relationship with you, that he thinks, oh, whatever you say, you are the master and I'm your servant. Like that, if he has that mood, then he will say, okay, no problem. But if he doesn't have that mood, he is not going to change. Say, for example, my son, if he is going to have something that he says is right, I cannot go and argue with my son to say, oh, you know what, you're falling in a ditch. You're going in the wrong direction. Even though he is going in the wrong direction, I can't go and tell him, you have to correct. Unless he has very strong, close affection to me, he's not going to listen to me. He's not going to say okay to me, even though he is wrong. So for these situations, time is the only solution. They just have to get beatings from the material nature, and they then have to come to an agreement or a conclusion to say, yes, that day itself, Prabhuji told me this was the right thing to do, but I missed that opportunity. He has to get the beatings and then realize. This is the only solution, Prabhuji. Certain people, there are three kinds of people. One people, just upon receiving an instruction, they would follow it and they would abide by it. The second set of people, they have to face the consequences and then understand, oh my God, I made a mistake. The third set of people are those, even after going to a jail, they don't understand, I made a mistake. They commit the offense repeatedly. So these are the three sets of people we have to deal on an everyday basis. Certain people we have to let go. We cannot waste our precious time upon such people, trying to convince them. That is waste of our time. So many ignorant souls are there whom we can go and give Krishna conscious to. So why do we have to waste time upon to a person who doesn't even want to agree? So this is what I would do, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Very practical. Very practical. Thanks.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. The one thing is that just for my adding, if we are right, no need to prove. Time will prove it. So thank you very much, Mataji, for your nice and wonderful class about the simplicity. It is the basic, and for everyone, Even if most of the devotees, they are simplicity, because Krishna like this simple person and a simple devotee, not the croquette like that. So thank you very much, all the devotees, especially Mataji. I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of our grace, Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Please join. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you. See you all next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ending the session.